Good day to you, students. I hope you guys are doing fine in your various homes. In our last class, we covered environmental conservation, where we discussed extensively on wildlife conservation. Today, we are moving into a new topic called sanitation. Now, by the end of this topic, I expect every student to be able to define what environmental sanitation is and to also distinguish or describe the two types of waste, as well as mentioning the various methods of disposing waste. And lastly, the importance of environmental sanitation. Okay, now what do we mean by sanitation itself? Sanitation is simply the removal of all kinds of waste which could be considered unpleasant from our immediate environment in order to keep ourselves and our environments clean and healthy. Okay? All right. We have two types of sanitation. We have the environmental sanitation. We also have the personal cleanliness. But before now, even before you traveled home for the COVID break, we have discussed things about personal cleanliness. So we are only limiting our discussion to environmental sanitation. All right. What do we mean by environmental sanitation? Environmental sanitation is a practice of keeping our surroundings clean and healthy by removing all kinds of waste from our rooms, our toilets, kitchen, bedroom, and all our environments in order to keep us healthy and safe from every form of diseases. Okay? Now, whenever you look at your environment, you see we have different types of waste. Now, what are the various types of waste we have? You talk about the refuse, and the second one is the sewage. That is, we have refuse and sewage. So let us quickly discuss this one after the other. What do we mean by refuse? Refuse is a solid waste which could actually lead to land pollution. And this refuse could either be in dried form, it could also be in what? In wet form. What are examples of refuse? You talk about nylon, the piece of papers, the plastic, your broken bottles and broken ties, the scraps, and so on and so forth. And one thing about refuse is that it can be divided into biodegradables and non-biodegradables. What are biodegradable refuse? Biodegradable refuse are those refuse that can be decomposed or decay. Example is a banana peel, dead leaves, and dead animals. When you have this around, they can easily decay. While non-biodegradables are those refuse that cannot be decomposed. Example of this is your plastic, your metal scraps, and the likes. All right, let's look at a method of disposing refuse. Number one, by burning of the refuse. And you can also dispose your refuse by burying them to facilitate decomposition or decay. By recycling or reclamation. Recycling means you are using that waste to produce another product. While reclamation means you are using the product, the waste to produce that same product. Example of this is you can use paper, waste paper, to produce tissue paper. That's a toilet roll. That's another product. And you can also use that waste paper to produce the paper itself. That is what we mean by recycling and reclamation. The another one is by proper use of waste bin. We have this in our various homes. The last one, use of incinerator. So incinerator is just like a container where solid waste are buried and burnt. Okay? Let's say the second type of waste, sewage. Sewage is a liquid waste, and which is found in the environment anyway. What are examples of this sewage? Your urine, your feces, and the wastewater from the kitchen, as well as from your bedroom, etc., etc. How do we dispose sewage? We can easily dispose our sewage through various processes like the use of pit latrine. We have it in some of these villages and towns. The use of bucket latrine, like your potty, which is used by the kids in our various homes. We also have water closet system. I think this is very common in our various homes. Okay? Now, what are the importance of sanitation, that is environmental sanitation? Number one, it prevents and creates awareness of diseases. The second one, it makes for proper disposal of refuse in the community in order to prevent diseases. It also enables us to engage in activities that will help us to maintain the balance in nature. And the last one, before I mention the last one we have here, it encourages recycling of refuse and using it to make other useful products. And lastly, it facilitates proper disposal of waste in the community. I believe with this short video of mine, I've been able to educate you students out there things about environmental sanitation. This is just a few things among the many more things we are still going to discuss in the Google Classroom. I'll be expecting you at the Google Classroom, and as you watch this, I pray that God bless you. Thank you.